Some say that in the classic 1980s Hovis TV adverts, he played the bike, and that he once auditioned for Talkie Toaster at Red Dwarf, but was told he was just a little bit too pushy for the part. It's not Topsy Toaster, but it is Gronksie the Toaster, Topsy's immortal friend from Toaster. Well, hello there, it's so great to see you and I hope I find you well. I'm Jenny Kirk, welcoming you up here to Weir Yard, and today I want to give out an extra special thanks to 3B Rail. Now you might remember them for supplying the original Topsy Toaster after a throwaway comment at one of the Rail's open days where I said I love tops numbers on locomotives and I would have a toaster if they put a tops number on it. And 3B Rail ran with that and actually sent us a toaster. Well, sent us Topsy Toaster.
Your host with the toast, Topsy Toaster.
And that's kind of taken off. Everybody loves Topsy. He is the host with the toast. It's very well bred. But he's been off on his holidays actually, visiting family down in Toaster. And 3B Rail has very kindly sent one of Topsy's relatives up to accompany him back from his holidays. So we're going to call him Gronksie because he's fashioned after a BR Black Class 08 diesel shunter with the full Early Crest and 13XXX number. And 3B Rail has actually incredibly kindly sent the actual locomotive as well, the Bachmann model, and I am incredibly grateful for this. I'm always humbled by the generosity of the viewers of this channel, and quite a number of you have sent stuff in, and I am always blown away by the generosity that you've shown. So today's video is a huge thank you to 3B Rail for sending over Gronksie the Toaster, not to mention the original Topsy the Toaster, and also another Gronk for the Weir Yard fleet. So let's take a good close look. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support comes from...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
I just love the fact that some of the jokes that we come out with on the Monday Club really get taken on board and run with by some of you guys. And 3B Rail, what an absolute legend, a star. There's going to be a whole family of toasters at this rate, which is just amazing. We'll try and bring them with us when we go to shows so that people can get their photos taken with the toasters. In fact, when we were at Getz, we took Topsy and he proved very popular. I think more people got their photo taken with Topsy than they did even with me. But thank you so much for these incredible toasters, and actually I've had a few people asking where they can get one of these for themselves. So if you want to start a little cottage industry producing Topsy toasters, that would be absolutely amazing. So do let us know if that's a route that you fancy going down, and we will plug that here on the show. In the box with Gronksie was this Gronk, which Gronksie is actually numbered after. Now, all of the Bachmann locomotives from this era had a kind of a stock picture which was the same in every single batch. But on the end of the box, we see what this one actually is. And it's catalogue number 32-114, 08 diesel shunter 13238 BR Black Early Crest. And this is actually one which I didn't have in my collection. In fact, I don't have this precise livery. Now, the closest that I got was, I did show this in one of my pickups videos, was I managed to get this second hand from, I think it was Anoraks Anonymous at one of the shows. As I always say, there's some great deals to be had out there, and I got this, which I think was a Model Rail magazine special commission back in the day, which is the black with the Early Crest, but with the addition of wasp stripes, and it's got its D number and factory weathering. But this is the pristine as delivered version, so I'm really quite excited by this, and thanks again 3B Rail for your amazing generosity. It's in really superb condition. It's one of the previous batches. I'm not actually entirely sure when this would have been from exactly, but we've got the inlay in here, a little bit of information about the Class 08, and then we see the model itself. Doesn't look like it's ever been run. There's no oil or residue on the cranks. Normally, if these have run for a bit, you get a kind of a grubby black deposit around the pivot point where it kind of rubs. And also, the rear steps are still in the detail bag. I'd actually forgotten about this. I've bought so many Gronks second hand that I forgot that actually when they're brand new, they come with these in a separate detail bag. So we've got the metal handrails. Originally, I think the first batch, maybe the first two batches, had plastic handrails, very, very prone to getting damaged. But Bachmann did listen to criticism and got those changed over. So this is from the point at which they changed over. In fact, I think this is from the very first batch when they introduced the hinged door panels. So this is the earlier style Class 08, and this has the hinges. Let's just see, is that, actually yes, this one is hinged as well. But one of the things that Bachmann have really truly done with the Class 08 is that they've done so many of the subtle detail variances that actually pretty much any member of the, I think it was 896 of them built. So pretty much any member of the class with a different positioning of the vacuum exhausters and other bits and pieces. I'm just looking on here actually, yeah, there is a difference you can see there, just to illustrate. That box at the front is not on this particular one, so it just shows some of the different detail differences that Bachmann are able to create. I'm just looking on the other side, that actually does have exactly the same. So there are subtle differences even between these two, ostensibly the same version of the Class 08. Now this looks like it's been living in its box for a great many years. In fact, looking at the wheels, I don't think this has ever particularly run. This is pristine mint, so thank you so much for this. And it is an interesting livery. When the diesels were first introduced, they came in this all-over black livery, not unlike some of the steam locomotives. And then later on, they gained BR green, with some of them actually, there was a very, very short window, I think, when BR green was first introduced where the Early Crest could appear. And such was the fleet that they didn't get repainted that often. So if a locomotive was repainted in that, I think it was about a 3-month window or something, and got the Early Crest on BR green, there is at least one example that I'm aware of that got the tops number while still in BR green with an Early Crest. So there are some quite interesting different combinations, and I think one did get, at least one in black, it did get the wasp stripes, got renumbered with a D number, but did get ultimately a tops number, but in the black. So they did persist like that, and you do wonder what paint they used, because it did resist just turning into a pile of rust. I think I need that that paint for my car, my old Volvo car. But the rest of this model, really lovely, really nicely done. The Bachmann model is a good solid model compared to the Hornby one. Really the only main main difference is that the connecting rods are just a little bit thicker on the Bachmann model, but you do get a lot of choice of different liveries, and these tend to be a pretty reasonable runner. They've got a sprung central axle. It's not sprung a lot, but enough that it really does help the pickups, and I think this may still be the pickups onto the top of the wheels. They're buried away in the chassis. It was the one Achilles heel of the Bachmann Gronks, that if you ran them on less than clean track, then they could pick up gunge, which would remove their effectiveness at running. But this doesn't look like it's ever been run. It's a little bit odd to see the ends without wasp stripes. You're so used to seeing them with wasp stripes that it's easy to forget that they didn't always have these. So you can see there on the front, the radiator all in black. It's a lot like Diesel from the Thomas the Tank Engine stories, which was pretty much this locomotive in this livery. So I am going to fit the steps. I can't not fit the steps, so let's just see if we can get these out. Still sealed, so I know that these have never been fitted to the model. These are quite easy to fit. You don't really need glue. They're just a push fit, and you can actually feel a little bit of resistance as they go in. If you're a little bit worried about maybe that coming loose, then it's quite easy to just put the tiniest of dabs of glue. And this is just card glue. And what it means is if you ever want to get these off for whatever reason, then you're not going to struggle. And there we are. I can feel the resistance actually. Just a little bit of glue is enough to increase the resistance. So really just the tiniest amount of glue. And you can use PVA if you really want. If you do use super glue, then just be quite careful you don't get like a white bloom. So there we go. We've got the ladders on the back in place. And I'm going to show you now actually just how to DCC fit these. Now, this particular batch is DCC ready. The very first batch, and possibly the second batch as well, predate being DCC ready, though actually they're really easy to hardwire. So never worry about a Bachmann Gronk. You can always get them DCC fitted. It's super easy, whether you're hardwiring or whether you're actually just using the onboard socket. Now I've got an 8-pin decoder just lying around. This is actually one that came out of the Class 401 that I did a video a couple of weeks ago now, about showing off the all-new Class 423 4VEP sound profile. So never throw them away. They're always good to go. So I'm just going to get the crosshead screwdriver, just slide the couplings up and out. And yeah, you can see there's a screw underneath and then another one underneath here. Don't be swayed by all of the other screws knocking about here. Essentially what you're looking at is a lot of those are for putting together bits of the chassis and other detail parts. So I'm just going to undo both of these. That feels like it's just spinning, not quite sure on that, and just gently just try and there is a little clip down there as well. Just be ever so careful with these. They do have a nasty habit of the clip parting company with the actual part of the cab. Unlatch that clip, slide out and up, and just remember there is a little piece of wire connected in at the front. So I'm actually going to try and leave that connected for now. And it is interesting, actually, that front screw isn't anything to do with getting the body off, so I'm going to tighten that back up. And I'll leave the coupling off for now. So what we've got here, actually no, that's going to stress that piece of wire. So very, very carefully, just ping this bit of wire out. It is actually in there quite tight. It's one of the bits that Bachmann really, there we go. So we've got the body off, and inside the typical Class 08, what we're looking for is the 8-pin socket on the back here. Wriggle that free. You can just see pin 1 top left. It's a little bit hard to see, but it is there. There's 1 and 8 just written onto the board, slightly hidden by some of these resistors. So we're going to just plug that in, and then we've got space to either just fiddle this in down at the front or up and over. But if you do that, just make sure it doesn't catch on anything. I sometimes like to twist these up. This decoder is just a bit sticky because it's been held in place with electrical tape in its last location. So a little test on the programming track verifies all is well, and it's probably as well to do that before we put the body on. And in fact, I'm just going to do a little bit of a service. It's probably been sat in this box for quite a few years, so I'm just going to give a very light oil just in a couple of places, just on the gears, a little bit on the worm, and then at the back end just a little bit on that bearing as well. Just saves on time whilst we've got the body off. So I've got that secured in place, and now it's a case of reversing the process to put this back together. The front just has that kind of clip, so let's make sure we get all the wires in and just gently smoosh that down and clunk click every trip. Now that's in place, let's just make sure that this wire is back where it started. These can be a little bit finicky. In all honesty, this seems to have been back in the days where Bachmann really didn't quite do anything more than lip service to DCC ready. This isn't one of the worst models by a long way, but it can be quite irksome to deal with just little bits like this wire. And we've got this screw at the back, which, contrary to what I said at the start, is just this one single screw that holds it all together. Just make sure you've got all the clips in place front and back, and then just carefully slide back in the couplings. And then the newest Gronk for Weir Yard, courtesy of 3B Rail, is ready to go on the tracks. Thanks again, Bill. It is really, really generous of you to send this and Gronksie the Toaster and Topsy the Toaster to the channel. I hope you really enjoyed today's video, and of course a huge thank you to 3B Rail for very generously sending over Gronksie the Toaster to accompany Topsy, so that there's now a whole family of toasters turning up. We've got a lot of toasters here for people who don't actually eat toast. Don't tell Topsy that. But also a huge thank you for the Class 08 diesel shunter as well. I love my Gronks, so I'm really blown away and humbled by your generosity. Thank you so much. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. What does everybody else think about Topsy the Toaster and Gronksie, and also the Class 08 in early BR Black from Bachmann that 3B Rail sent in? Do leave your comments down below. It's always great to hear from you, and don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe as well to be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. And you can also check out the full merch store as well. It's just down there under the video. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take amazing care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support is provided by...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model 00 gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.